I'm glad you could join us for this masterclass this morning on Introduction to Energy Audit. We are confident that through this session, you will have a better understanding of energy audit. As you know, most people are familiar with the phrase energy audit, but few have an understanding of what it is. There are questions on the mind of many as to why energy audit is necessary. So many people have asked, what exactly is energy audit? What are the types of energy audits available? How do we deploy energy audits, and what are the methodologies from end to end? What are the available tools and technologies? Who is qualified to carry out energy audits? And what are the costs reflective from energy audits? And how do you prepare energy audit reports and present the outcome? These and many more will be answered by distinguished panelists. As they say, what is not measurable is not controllable, and what is not controllable is not manageable. In Nigeria today, economically and across various sectors, there are challenges of energy efficiency. In fact, there is a huge need for energy savings to improve bottom line and reduce costs. All over the world today, energy has become a deciding factor for economic and business survival. But unfortunately, in our own space at the moment, we have installed capacity without electricity. In places where electricity is available, it is not sustainable due to poor energy management. But the journey to panacea in changing this narrative begins with effective and efficient energy audit. This would serve as the pivot to energy management, energy efficiency, availability of clean and safe energy, as well as sustainable energy. My name is Banire Adeshino of Energy Training Center. I will be your moderator for this masterclass. ETC is a bespoke learning academy and a center of excellence for energy and engineering learning intervention in Nigeria. This masterclass is put together as a response to a gap that is identified across the power sector, the oil and gas, the manufacturing, industries, and even the academia. And I believe that all our participants are going to get maximum value from this masterclass today. So first, let's go over a few housekeeping rules before we continue. We expect that your microphones remain muted. Throughout this session, you're only allowed to contribute via the chat icon. The recordings of this masterclass will be made available to you after this live session, which you can access. To ask our panelists any question, you can use the Q&A icon available at the bottom of your screen. A feedback link will be shared, and we expect your feedback of this masterclass. And we also encourage you to share your key light bulb moments at our social media handles. You could use hashtag ETC Energy Audit. Any of our social media handles are available. We have on Twitter, on Instagram at etc_connect, linkedin.com/company/etc-ng. And for those of you just joining us, you are welcome. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our guest panelists in no particular order. We have here with us this morning Mrs. Peace Nwabugu. Peace Nwabugu is an applied physicist, a senior research officer at the National Center for Energy Efficiency and Conservation. As an applied physicist, she designs and deploys solar hybrid mini grids as well as energy smart homes. This is her contribution towards solving Nigeria's energy needs. Furthermore, she helps the younger generation commercialize their innovative ideas that are aimed at solving challenges that could be deployed at various levels. across communities, states, nationwide. This she does through intervention programs provided at Science Ambassadors Foundation, SAF. She's an author of several science publications used at both secondary and tertiary education levels in Nigeria. Peace is a graduate of University of Lagos. She was co-trained at Imperial College and University of Warwick in United Kingdom on science communication and was recently selected as a fellow Tech Woman 19. Hosted at the University of Berkeley, California, United States of America. She's a scholar of EDC, Lagos Business School, and a graduate of several grant awarding organizations. In addition to that, we have with us today Mr. Ayodeji Dada. Ayodeji is an energy conservation manager and a pragmatic advocate for climate change and sustainability. He is passionate about saving energy and helping the global environment and skilled at providing insights on practical, guaranteed ways to do energy management. He has featured in so many seminars, trainings, and given keynote addresses on this subject matter. Ayodeji Dada is the CEO of Stratagem Energy Management Company, an emerging energy management company in Nigeria. He is also the president of Association of Energy Engineers, AEE, from the United States, the Nigerian chapter. Prior to this, Ayodeji worked for over 16 years with Nigerian Bottling Company, where he helped strengthen her bottom line and consistently achieved energy and sustainability goals. And thirdly, on the list, we have with us Victoria Edeha Anthony. Mrs. Victoria is a mini-grid developer and an energy auditor with many years in renewable energy industry. Victoria obtained her bachelor's degree from the University of Benin with a second-class upper division in agriculture. She developed a strong interest in renewable energy after she carried out a research work on post-harvest loss of food and realized that solar technology can help reduce post-harvest loss in Nigeria and Africa at large. She studied courses on renewable energy, specifically mini-grid design and energy audit. Victoria is an expert energy auditor. She has worked as an operations analyst at ICE Commercial Power, involved in energy audits and efficiency, project management, regulatory, commissioning, maintenance of solar projects, and data analysis. She has trained over 50 youths at ICE Masterclasses on the business of energy audits and solar. She's an energy auditor trainer for ICE operations team and has overseen over 300 energy audit practical exercises across 4 states in Nigeria. Victoria is passionate about increasing electricity to farmers in Nigeria and Africa at large in order to reduce cost of energy consumption and improve bottom line. Gentlemen and ladies, this morning, to start our discussion today, we are going to commence with Victoria. Hello, are you ready, Mrs. Victoria Edeha Anthony?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you are welcome.
Yeah, I'm ready. Good morning.
So can we have you, please?
Okay. I want to share my screen.
Yes, you can go ahead.
So today we'll be talking about energy audit. The introduction, we're going to look into the definition, the objectives, the types, the safety measures we need to carry out, then some calculation in energy audit. Then we're also going to determine the type of the method of energy audit to use when we have such exercise to carry out. So let's go over what exactly is energy audit. Energy audits are comprehensive evaluation of the performance of a facility's energy using system and equipment, energy managing system. Energy audits help us to measure, fix the basis, and help us to monitor our energy usage. Let me bring it back to my experience, because so I don't need to go over a lot of definitions. Energy audits actually help us to know what we consume and help us to manage our power sources. For example, last week a woman called me that she wanted an inverter for a 3-bedroom flat, that should give her a quotation, a price how much it's going to cost her to have an inverter in a 3-bedroom flat. And I asked her, Ma, what do you have? She was like, I have 2 ACs, 12 bulbs, 4 fans, mentioned a lot of things. And she said, I want you to power everything. I said, okay, fine, power everything. By the time I did my calculation, I gave her the quotation. She yelled. She said, it's too much. This money is just too much. She now gave a reference like, my colleague at work, she said, my colleague at work used 100,000 naira to buy an inverter and is working well in his house. I said, Madam, that's your colleague. Everybody has their own load. They have what they want to power. So, and I asked her, like, what exactly do you want us to power for you? What do you need? Because if if we have to power everything, it's going to cost you much. And I asked, okay, what's your budget? She said, okay, this is my budget. Work with my budget. So I had to guide her, okay, let's do away with this one. Let's do away with this. Let's do away with this, just to meet her needs. And by the time both of us ran through what exactly she needs, that's what we call the critical load, we were able to meet up her budget and it was good to go. She didn't need to spend a lot of money. And she was so happy about it that, fine, this is fantastic because it worked with my budget and I can still get what I need. So that's what energy audit does for you. It helps you, like the objectives, it helps you to determine the current energy consumption. It tells you about the potential to save energy. It helps you to know how to prioritize our action. That's what the objectives of energy audit. And also, we have what we call the walkthrough energy audit and the comprehensive energy audit. The walkthrough energy audit and the comprehensive energy audit. The walkthrough is a light audit that consists of a relatively inspection of the facility to identify maintenance, operational loads, deficient equipment issues, and to identify areas which need further evaluation. What it means is that the walkthrough energy audit is a situation where you use a visual inspection of what exactly a client is consuming. Let's say, for example, you use your house for an instance. You look around, you have maybe 2 TV, you have 2 fans, you calculate. It's just like you are going around across your house, you are going around, then you're taking note of what you have, the wattages, and so that's what a walkthrough energy audit is. Why a comprehensive energy audit is a thorough audit evaluating the energy consuming system of a building or plant in details. Comprehensive energy audit is well detailed. This, you have to use what we call a flux meter, an energy meter. I think you can see from my slide, the first picture shows the walkthrough where someone has to go and is like a visual inspection of, okay, what do you have in your facility? Okay, it goes around calculate everything you have. Then you take note of the wattages of each of the appliances. Then the comprehensive, the other picture, that's me there doing the comprehensive energy audit, where you have to use the flow meter to carry out a detailed reports, and that's you get that information from the transformer. That's me in the transformer with the flow meter, trying to get the what each department of a building is actually consuming. So that's well detailed, and it helps you to monitor which department of your facility is consuming this amount of power at a particular time. That's what comprehensive energy audit does. So we have to look into the safety, because carrying out energy audit, there are safety measures you need to put in place. The importance of safety in dealing with electrical system is measurable. Working safely around electricity is the most important aspect of safety. So if you can look at the screen, you can see we have the goggles, the eye goggles, we have um, we have the safety boots, we have the hard hats, then we also have the hand gloves. So these are safety measures you need to put in place. Like in my previous slide, in this comprehensive, you dare not go to the transformer with your bare hands. I think you're going to find yourself on the floor if you do that. So you see me there with my hard hat, with my vest, with my hand gloves. So these are the safety measures you need to put in place, because what you are dealing with is electricity. So, and it can be dangerous. So and these are what we call the PPEs. Those equipment are what we call the PPEs. They are used to prevent or reduce the impact of accidents that are likely to occur. And the dangers of electricity, they include electric shock, electrocution, burns, and fall. And it depends on the impact or where the source of power is coming from. And the issue, and even with the effect, with the way the impact is on human, we still have a lot of people who still go ahead to who still go ahead to carry out energy audit, or still go ahead to do something that has to do with electricity without their PPEs on. And some of them is due to ignorance, some are due to their attitude. They felt what is there in wearing an helmet, or what is there in putting a safety boot, and others is lack of supervision. So we're going to look at the determination of which energy audit method to select. We have factors that determine the audit method. In this case, for the walkthrough energy audit, the walkthrough energy audit is mostly done in, let's say, in a business place, and it depends on the person you are doing. It depends. It depends on the facility. It depends on your clients as well. Why a comprehensive energy audit? Because the equipment you are actually using is very expensive. Like the fluke meter is quite huge. I think it's up to $8,000 in Amazon, the fluke meter. So you buying equipment of that amount and saying you're going to carry out energy audit in a small apartment is a waste of money. It's a waste of money. So that's why there are some factors that you need to look out for to determine which type of energy audit to use. So we are going to look at the funding available for the audit, the funding available, then the cost and the potential of the energy conservation opportunities, then the required accuracy of the audit information, the types of facility, the function of facility, and the processing within the facility. Like the site we went to, in most of our sites at ICE Commercial Power, where I worked, we had to go to, because most of our our clients are small business, small and medium scale enterprises, where we have different shops. It's a plaza. So we can't actually do a comprehensive energy audit because of the money involved in buying the equipment. So, and most energy audits we have in renewable energy are actually done using the walk-through energy method, walk-through energy audit. So because of the fund available for the audit and the type of facility is a shop, we don't need to carry out that expensive equipment to a shop to carry out audit. Is very expensive, it's a waste of money. So that's what we look at for, because what we do, we majorly deal with walk-through energy audit, and that's what I will be explaining in most of my slides. So the main steps in carrying out an energy audit, we have the kickoff meeting, the on-site inspection, the data analysis, result restitution. This in a way, like when you are to go out, when you are to go for energy audit, you have an appointment with a client that say, okay, um, like for instance, in Lagos, because I'm the one in charge of Lagos branch, Lagos, to carry out energy audit in Lagos. And when we have clients maybe coming, maybe a school wants us to come and do an audit for their boarding school. It's a boarding school, wants us to do an energy audit for their hostels. That's a kickoff meeting. They schedule an appointment with us. So I and my team, we go there. Then we have to, because we majorly do the walk-through energy audit. I and my team, we go to the school, the boarding school, and we go around, like inspect what do they have in each class, what facility are they using. Then in this case, we also do, let me show you this slide. We take a picture of the place, because that is the site layout. We take a picture of the place. We draw how the pattern is, how the site layout is. Okay, how many classrooms or how many rooms do they have in this um, facility? What exactly are they using in each room? So like you have in this slide, you have these box are showing each room. Like what do they have in each? So we calculate all that. That's a walkthrough. That's a walkthrough energy audit. So that's on-site inspection. Then the data analysis now comes in when, after we've done our calculation, we have to like, okay, calculate, we've done our calculation. So we have to analyze if this report, or if maybe from the reports we've gotten, if this business is viable, because we have to discuss with the owner. Like when we've done the calculation and we see that, oh, this project is going to be quite expensive, then we discuss with the owner, like, if we are going to power everything in your school, it's going to cost you this amount of money. What do you think? What's your budget like? We discuss, what's your budget? It tells us, okay, I have this amount of money to spend for, let's say, solar energy, because we deal with solar energy. I have this amount of money to spend. So we have to like work, we have to like negotiate, we discuss, okay, why not, let's do away with some equipment that are not necessary. Maybe you use your generator to power some, while we offer you solar based on our energy audit report. That's where data analysis come. It helps us to like compare if it's going to be profitable, or if it's not going to be profitable. That's where data analysis comes in, and the result restitution. Then after we have done collecting the equipment, this is the energy usage calculation. Let's say, for example, you go to maybe in your house or in your offices, you have these are various loads. You have LED bulbs and they are 11 watts, and you have 6 of them. So you put that under the quantity, then you have the total wattage. You have the total wattage, then like how many hours do you normally use them? Then you also have the watt hour. So we tabulate all this information on our data, then we calculate what's the total wattage and the watt hour. This is very important, because after the energy audit, this is the next thing you need to do. You have to tabulate all your findings from the facility you've carried out the audit. from. So then we have two sector we actually deal with. This kind of energy audit, that's a walkthrough energy audit itself. You can do that at home, there is both residential and industrial. So it also depends as well. You can do that in homes, hotels. Then you also in industries, you have the hospital, the primary health center. You can carry out, that's where you can carry out energy audits. But to me, I feel as far as you are using electricity, you need an energy audit. As far as you are going to use electricity in your facility, you need to carry out an energy audit because it helps you to save money. It helps you to save money a lot. You save money and it helps you to prioritize your spending as well. It helps you to know what exactly you are spending on your electricity. So energy audit is very, very, very crucial. So this is a site layout, is an example. This is just an example of a plaza. When we example of a plaza that it has a total of 13 shops, and we have various kind of businesses going on, and we are to power this. Let's say you are giving this plaza to go and carry out an energy audit, and you are to power this whole facility, and everybody are using different type of equipment. You have the tailor that will be using a sewing machine that has to do with a lot of heating coils. Then you have let's say an hairdressing shop that has to do with so many ring boilers. So by the time we go out and take from one shop to the other, like taking note of what they have, what they consume, so that's a walkthrough energy audit. Then we take note of the wattage, that's a walkthrough energy audit. Then we now have to like simulate the report, then know what exactly the amount of solar we are going to offer to this facility. So without energy audit, you can't just say, okay, I want to go and install in a facility like this, or I want to buy a generator for my house, because you don't know what exactly you need, what exactly you are consuming. So energy audit helps you to, it tells you, okay, if in my house, what exactly do I need? Because my neighbor is using 10 kVA inverter does not mean I should use a 10 kVA inverter. What you are going to use depends on what you have in your house. What appliances are you using? And not just what appliances are you using, the appliances you use on a daily basis. That's what we call the critical load. That's what we call the critical load, because if you look at this, we have the load demand, the energy profile of XYZ facility. You have this section, let's say, for example, let's give an example, maybe your house, you have the bedroom in the section, your sitting room, your bedroom. What are the kind of appliances are you using there? How many bulbs, the quantity. By the time you tabulate all these things, you have a particular size for that. You have a total load for that. Then you take note, what is my critical load? Because at times you may say, okay, I want them to power everything. And there are some appliances that you have abandoned for 2 months. You've not touched it, you've not powered it at all. And if you bring that into your total load, your your critical load is going to cost you much, because you're going to be paying for something you're not using. So critical load helps you to streamline, what exactly do I need? What exactly do I need to power? So that I make do away with what I don't need. That's what critical load is. So for every energy audit we carry out, we take note of the load demand. What exactly do they have? Whether they are using it or not, we take note of it. Then we go over what exactly are they using, at what particular time are they using that appliances. We take note of that. So from the critical load, that's where we start working from the critical load, because the critical load is what is a very vital information for us. That the critical load is what we look at. It determines how much the client is going to spend. The critical load. So it's not about, please power everything for me. And that's where a lot of our clients miss it. When we go to site and they say, power everything, I want light in everything. No, it doesn't work that way, because you may indirectly be powering what you don't need, and it's a waste of money. So energy audit helps you to save money. It helps you to save money, a lot of money in the long run. It helps you to save money. And I would like to share this, like my story, how did I venture into this energy audit of a thing? I was employed as an operations analyst just basically to do system design. When I say system design, it means just I'm supposed to like take note of from every energy audit being carried out. I'm supposed to draft out the critical load and design a system that my company is going to use to write out a quotation for a solar system in a facility. So we usually outsource our energy audit to a particular company, and by the time they send me the reports, I'm supposed to pick out, because anytime they send me the report, my focus is the load demand, the total load demand and the critical load. Then I look at every other thing, the site, what if they are using any ET equipment, because that's very important. ET equipment consume a lot of power. So by the time I was doing that, I started having issues with the report, because the report was not very clear. Was the critical load was just too much. And by the time I'm going to design a system, the client will not be able to afford it. So I saw that as a big challenge for me, because it was affecting my job. So I decided that, okay, one day I'm going to follow the person in charge of that energy audit to carry out an energy audit for a particular site we had in Lagos, and the place was in Lekki. So by that day, I was supposed to meet him. That was raining, and by the time I was 1 hour late, and by the time I got there, the person said, "I'm done with the energy audit." I was like, "What did you do that you are done within 1 hour?" I was so curious that how will somebody do energy audit for 1 hour, and we pay that huge amount, and the report is not clear, and I can't do my job, and you said you are done. So that thing make me like, what is this energy audit? Because without this energy audit, I can't design a system. Without this energy audit, my company can't install for anybody. And if we're not sure of what we are designing, it's going to affect the budget of the client. And the client will think that these people are too expensive, because why? The foundation is not right. And the foundation is the energy audit. So I took it as a challenge. And I told my boss, I told him that, please, I want to go for energy audit training. I want to be trained. I want to know what this energy audit is. So he sponsored my training, and I am one of my colleagues. We went for the training. And by the time, and even as at that time, we had our offices in Akure and in Asaba. We wanted to do energy audit training in Asaba. So we had our offices in Akure and in Asaba. We wanted to do energy audit training.
Hello, Victoria. I guess she's having a network challenge. All right, I'm sure we are getting the points on kicking off energy audit from the preliminary stage to the on-site inspection and data analysis. And she has also showed us the categories of energy audits, looking at it from the residential perspective as well as the industrial angle. She also made mention of load demand, and she cited a few examples of critical loads. So, because of our time, we are going to move on to the next panelist. Whenever Victoria joins us, we are going to keep her on standby for the Q&A session. So right about now, I will be calling on Mr. Ayodeji Dada. He will be taking us through a few points on energy audits with respect to the manufacturing industries and some other spheres. Mr. Ayodeji Dada, can we have you now?
Yes, you can. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mr. Banire. Good
Hello,
morning.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. Good morning, Mr. Banire. Good morning, my co-panelists. Good morning to everyone who has joined us today. Let me start by thanking the ETC for creating this opportunity for all of us to learn. It's a very good opportunity, share knowledge, and to be able to impact at this point. Um, I, I'm also grateful to my family and my team at Stratagem for the support and the backup they provide to me in doing what I do on a daily basis. I also want to thank Vivian. I think I got her name right. She had already said a lot of things about the basics for energy audits. I will be focusing more, as Mr. Banire said, on the industrial sector, where I've had a number of experiences, and I've executed various number of energy audits. As said earlier, I work with a company, Stratagem Energy Management Company. Stratagem Energy Management Company is a company that focuses on energy efficiency, renewable energy, engineering projects, procurement, and also construction. We also engage in audits. As of this week, we've done, I think, about 1 or 2 audits already, where we've also delivered reports to our clients. We also make available audit tools for lease or rental. Like my co-panelist said earlier, the cost of these tools can be quite expensive. So we've also tried to get them and make it available for people on the lease option, where they can lease it, use it, and also return it in good condition. So let me dive in straight. What is energy audit? As said earlier, Mr. Banner said, so if you have any questions, please, you can just write it on the Q&A tab, and then we'll discuss it later. So let me quickly dive in. What is energy audit? My co-panelist has given very detailed and brilliant explanation, so I will not want to stay too much on this. Energy audit, of course, is the main purpose of an energy audit is to get details, to get data, to get information about opportunities to save energy, to conserve energy rather, and to save costs. Management, most of the time, also want to use it as an opportunity to see, to have visibility into energy consumption patterns. What are the significant energy users? And so it's a way we can also check for our systems, our energy consuming systems, and how they perform. How they perform in what way? How do we know how important? I think she's back. Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We've had to start my session, so maybe we'll come back to you. I think Mr. Banner will arrange that.
Okay, sorry, I think I had network issue. So
Okay.
it took me time connecting back. So actually I'm almost done. It's just like in conclusion, by the time, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We've actually started my session, so I was just about to ask Mr. Banner
All right.
to see if we should go back to allow you finish, or I should continue. So I don't know, Mr. Banner, are you there? Hello, Mr. Banner. Okay, I don't know.
I think it dropped off. I think network issues, but I think we can continue with Mr. Dada, and
Okay.
then maybe during the Q&A session, Mrs. Victoria can wrap up.
Okay, okay, thank you. So Victoria, I'll continue. Thanks. Okay, so I like to place some focus on the benefits of energy audits. The most of the time, you could be doing so well, you could assume you are doing so well, but by the time an energy audit is done and you are benchmarked against another facility or organization which has the same capacity or size as you are, then this shows you how truly competitive or how truly effective you are on energy usage. So energy audit helps us to benchmark, which helps us to control cost and of course energy usage. It also helps us to maintain effective monitoring, to have reports, to have strategies, of course, for energy usage. The one I like most is the next two, which is it helps to give everyone along the value chain informed decision. They can make data that helps them to make informed decision. Whether you are a boiler operator, whether you are a generator operator, whether you are a maintenance planner analyst, whether you are the management, you are the business manager, even if you are not an engineer or you are not in engineering, with the data provided from an audit, it helps you to make an informed decision. It promotes energy visibility. I can tell you for a fact that most times without measurement, without real-time monitoring, without an audit, you have challenges having visibility into how energy consumption takes place within your facility or your organization. The most important, which is whatever we do on energy, there is a key aspect, which is our responsibility to the environment, our responsibility to the unborn children, to the future people who will inhabit the earth, meaning we must keep the environment very, very healthy. So energy audit helps us to reduce greenhouse gas emission and also to improve air quality. During this COVID period, I monitored the news regularly, and I realized that most cities, I monitored via the CNN, cable news network, and I realized that most cities had improved air quality during this period. I was really, really impressed. So that's an abnormal situation, of course, but when we conduct energy audits and take decisions from energy audits, it helps us to have positive impact on the environment. But there's a call out I did right there. Most companies, most management wants to take decision, but like I said, you may not be in engineering, you may not be an energy expert, but you want to know what's the benefit of putting money into an energy audit. What will I derive? Or management is looking at ways to cut costs as we are currently experiencing a global pandemic. People are changing, people are diversifying, organizations are diversifying. How do we see what benefits can energy audit bring to your organization? Before you spend that money, before you invest in CapEx, before you make that next decision, I will advise that you conduct an energy audit. Let me tell you the story of a company that spoke to us a few weeks back. And we conducted an audit for them last week, and we presented a report to them this week. One of the reasons why they conducted this audit was because they wanted to make a CapEx decision on procuring a gas generator. They did not want to buy a generator that is undersized or oversized. They wanted something that can cater for their load. They also realized that they have removed some significant energy users from their load. So they needed to be sure that that significant energy user, the impact on the sizing of the new generator is determined. So it helped that thing to come to a conclusion. We did an audit, and it was not a full scope audit, but it was an audit that gave them the information to help them to make the right decision. You cannot, as a management, you cannot as an engineer, you cannot as somebody who wants to go into an investment, do this without conducting an audit, without taking some necessary measurements of your existing infrastructure to be able to be sure of what you are doing. So management decision on improvement opportunities or investment planning cannot be effective without an energy audit. There is potential to deliver savings between 10 to 50% with 2 to 4 years payback at most. The best payback you can get from projects is anything that is less than 3 years. And for you to go into taking that decision, it is advisable to have an energy audit done. Okay. Let's quickly look at types of energy audit. Victoria mentioned this, and I'll just quickly run through this and move on. Basically, we have 3 levels of energy audit. We have level 1, level 2, and level 3. Level 1 is basically is about walk through energy audit, where you just walk through the facility, you walk through the manufacturing organization, you just to familiarize yourself with the process. You generate, you look at it. Most of the time, you don't do so much measurement. So you just your expertise, your exposure, your knowledge, your experience comes into play here. You walk into a building, and then you are able to see opportunities, and then you go back to your desk and you write a report with low or no cost. So this walk-through energy audit, we call it low-hanging fruit. You use it to identify low-hanging fruit. You walk into a space, you realize that they don't have the right fenestration, they don't have the right windows, they don't have the right, maybe they leave their doors open. These are simple, quick wins, low-hanging fruits that you can identify and recommend immediate action. Most of the time we say it's low or no cost. And I always tell people, any organization that is not implementing walkthrough audits or actions from walkthrough audits, they have no business doing a detailed energy audit or an investment grade energy audit, because most of the time it's all about discipline. The second level, of course, I just mentioned, is detailed energy audit, and this one is about 3 to 7 days. There is a form of metering, a form of review. If opening meetings are conducted, there will also be reports that will be presented. You review the system, design, installation, operations. You do all this to, excuse me, you do all this, and it gives a detail. It helps. It's better than walkthrough audit. It's really, really serious. It gives you opportunity to make that for management to take a decision. Most of the time, this is done when maybe the funding available is not so fantastic, and you still want to do something. So you have some form of cost that you would expend on this. The last one, of course, is the investment grade audit, which requires a lot of things, capital. You do a lot of metering, a lot of analysis, serious analysis. You get in the experts. For example, if this audit is to be conducted in the manufacturing sector, you get an expert for electrical systems, for power systems. You get an expert for steam. You get an expert for HVAC. You get an expert for air compressor. You get an expert for each of the system or processes, because you want to optimize the total benefit. This also looks at how you can do what you call system optimization, where you can take energy you lose from maybe you save energy from a steam system, you use it to generate energy for another system. So this is more detailed. This, you calculate your NPV, your life cycle cost, and most of the time this is conducted by senior professionals with very huge experience in the industry. Most of the time, let me talk quickly about the investment for walkthrough energy. Like I said, is low or no cost. you may not spend so much, but the benefit from this is maybe between 5 and 10%. You could get energy saving for between 5 and 10%. For level 2 detailed energy audits, I can assure you between 10 and 25% saving, maximum of about 30% saving with serious focus and discipline. For investment grade audits, we're talking about retrofitting, we're talking about replacement of old equipment, we're talking about bringing in new generation equipment, AI, Internet of Things equipment. We're talking about between 30 and 50% savings. So these are the benefits, these are the types of energy audits and the savings you can derive from them. How do you select the type of energy audit you want to implement? Like I said in my last slide, it's also about the function and type of industry. Like Victoria said earlier, you want to do an energy audit for a plaza, for a home. You don't need to go for the detailed or investment grade energy audit because the equipment you need cannot justify the type of building or the type of facility you want to, or the functionality of that facility. Also, the depth to which the final result is required. What do you want to use the information to do? Is it for a renewable energy project? Is it for energy efficiency project? Is it for CapEx planning or CapEx investment? These are some of the things you need that would inform the type of audit you can go for. And of course, the type of savings you want to achieve. I've worked in organizations where we were crazy about our saving, not because of the cost alone, but because of the impact on the environment. I must say that the organization was more focused on the impact on the environment, and after that was now the impact of the cost reduction on our bottom line. And this now informed the type of audit we conducted. And we got in experts and we were able to get outstanding results from this process. I want to say something about energy audits. Most of the time, organizations, if you have intention to conduct an energy audit, let's say in 2020, and you do not conduct that energy audit, and your energy cost is about 1 billion naira. If you conduct the energy audit, maybe you have potential of saving 100 million over the next 2 years or 3 years. I can assure you, if you don't conduct that energy audit, your energy cost will go up 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 billion over the next 3 years. And why not just do it? Why not just take that decision to do it? Because the energy audit will pay back itself. It has been proven, it is very, very confirmed that when you conduct an energy audit and you implement the outcomes of the energy audit, it will pay back itself. And that's why companies like Stratagem and other companies in the industry, we do what we call performance contracting. We can provide savings for you from your energy audit, for implementing your energy audit, and we can use the savings that we have recommended to implement the solutions we have recommended, and you can monitor this over the next 12 to 36 months. This is something we can do, and this is something that is possible. So you will not lose when you implement energy audits. What are the types of energy audit standards that we have? Of course, in Nigeria, we have the ISO standard, which is managed by the SON. And so in Nigeria, with the support of organizations like GIZ, the ISO 50001 was domesticated into Nigeria, and we now call it the NIS ISO 50001, meaning it is now a Nigerian adopted standard. So this is something that is available. This is managed by the Standard Organization of Nigeria. The European Union also has what we call the EN 16247. It's also a legislation adopted by the member states of the EU to implement energy audit, to ensure that member states embrace energy efficiency via energy audits. We also have what we call the ISO 2002, which is one of the latest methodologies in the energy audit sector. We also have, for the Americans, what we call the ASHRAE audits. It also has level 1, level 2, and level 3 rather. like I said, these audits or these standards are there to help leading organizations to identify opportunities for improvements in their energy performance. Of course, we have the different processes which I quickly want to run through. The methodology for energy audits. The most critical part of any energy audit you want to do is the planning. I always tell people you cannot know a facility. You cannot know a facility like the owner of that facility. They may not be able to pay attention to some things you will pay attention to as an expert, as an energy auditor, but I can tell you that you have to plan. You have to do proper planning. You have to set objectives. What is the scope of work? What type of criteria do you want to say? What's the boundary? Are you doing a full scope audit immediately, or you want to just do a pilot audit? You need to do some of this planning. You need to look at what is the priority area for the organization. What are the source of information collection? How do you know? Do you need to sign a confidentiality agreement? The biggest issue with Nigeria or any audit you want to do in Nigeria, I can give you this for a fact, is the confidentiality agreement. Even when an organization as big as the GIZ wanted to conduct energy audits, though it was not a full scope, but they wanted to gather data, rather, let me say they wanted to gather data about energy consumption patterns from manufacturing organizations. You'll be shocked to know that most of these companies did not give the right information. Eventually, it did not allow that project to succeed because we always hide information, even when the information is required to improve our process. So to maybe give organizations some form of confidence in what you want to do, some form of safety in what you want to do, a safe space, you can sign a confidentiality agreement. Of course, you need to also check what are the regulatory aspects. And of course, you need to create a work plan for what you want to do. And like I put in red, the effective planning saves times and minimize the number of time you spend on site. There's also serious responsibility for the energy auditor. Most importantly, you must avoid any conflict of interest issues. Data collection. I mean, if you don't do this right, then the audit is void. It is key for an auditor to ensure that you collect data appropriately. You should also be able to show how you collected the data, the methodology for collecting that data. You must be able to show it because the clients, the owner of the facility, the people along the value chain, they would want to understand. And the reason why you also need to collect data correctly and effectively is because if anything changes, if the size of the facility changes, if the company decides to reduce the consumption or to reduce equipment or to reduce the footprint, whatever, you should be able to go back to your data collection and rework what you have done. So you need data on the processes, on the raw materials, the production statistics, the waste, every information. Don't forget that you've already signed a confidentiality agreement, so this information should be readily available to you. Utility bills, consumption reports, data from submitters, that's if meters are available, and stuff like that. Also the processes. Most of the time you want to do an audit, you need data about the processes. How do they operate in that facility? Do they work 24/7? Do they have the same volume of people? Does that facility have an admin section where people work in the day, they don't work at night? We need to have all this information, the consumption pattern, equipment that they use. Are they new equipment? What is the age of the equipment? What is the energy consumption pattern of those equipment? Are there alternative sources of powering that equipment? Those are the data we need to check. And like I said earlier, data collection is actually the key, is the art of any energy audit. And for me, you must make sure the time you are collecting that data is important. You must key in that timing. It is important to do that. Another thing, like I said earlier, you cannot know the house of you cannot know the house of the owner of the house like the owner of the house. So it is important to have an opening meeting It's important to have an opening meeting, a startup meeting, where the energy auditor has a single point of contact. SPC, you have a SPOC, a single point of contact, because that person helps you to be able to have access to as many places as you can. It helps you to have the cooperation of all the affected parties, and of course, you'll be able to have unhindered access to every area of the facility, and it will also help you to have access to also the senior management. Field work, okay? Whatever approach you want to do, field work is also important. That's where your skill, your competency comes in. That's how you go about to do the audits. You go into the facility, you familiarize yourself with the facility, the procedures, you get their drawings, you check their energy cost centers, their energy cost drivers. This is where the real hard work now comes in, where you need to exercise some form of energy yourself in carrying out the energy audits. Okay, so there's, after you gathered all this information, there is need for you to then go back and evaluate the data you have captured. How reliable is this data? Of course, you may observe some abnormalities. You need to probably go back to reconfirm some information, but this is where you put together everything and make sense of what you have done. Make your executive summary, the details of every recommendations you are going to give. So you identify the energy saving opportunities that you want to have. Sorry about that. There was a little glitch there. So one of the importance of your role as an energy auditor is to be able to identify improvement opportunities with cost savings, with benefits, cost benefit analysis, payback period, deep energy expertise. This is one of the key deliverables that a company like Stratagem Energy Management can give you. We provide what we call deep energy expertise, detailed study, detailed identification of improvement opportunities, payback opportunities for your organization. And of course, like I said, we provide a report, and the report must be very presentable, colorful, help the management team of the organization you are making the presentation to. First, when you are submitting your report, the report must have all necessary information. The report must be understandable. Without you making a presentation, anybody who goes through that report should have a clear understanding of that report. And then you may need to now make a full presentation to the team. But the report should be self-explanatory. It should give good understanding. So during the closing meeting, the report can be presented. You can give your recommendations. You give them the opportunity to, the clients, the opportunity to ask questions. I've realized in some closing meetings, some understanding the auditor had was clarified, maybe by somebody senior in the organization, and that changes the whole outcome of the audit entirely. So you are an energy auditor, but you are not there to punish them. You are not there to make them feel bad. You are just there to show them, to point a light, to put a searchlight, a focus on things the organization was not looking at. So it's more like a discussion, not like a condemnation meeting. That needs to be understood properly. Let me quickly run through tools that you need. Victoria mentioned some of them, and I want to quickly mention some of them because you need to, if you want to measure temperature, you need your infrared pyrometer or your thermal imager or infrared cameras. The picture is there to help you to get that information, accurate information. Don't forget, before I go deep into tools and technologies, calibration of your tool is important. If you are taking a tool that is defective to a site for an audit, you have contaminated the outcome of that audit. So you must ensure your tools are properly calibrated and you have your calibration certificate. Some customers will ask for it. The audit I said we delivered this week, the customer asked for our calibration certificate and we had to present it to them. So you need your infrared camera. These are some of the pictures just to help you. This is some of the outcome of the pictures from the use of this camera. Ultrasonic leak detectors from your air leaks or steam leaks. You need this because you can use some rule of thumb to detect this, but to be sure, to be accurate, you need this tool. Temperature and humidity logger. This is also something you need for to check if the data for temperature and humidity of a space. These are some of the outcomes. These are some places where you can get some of these tools. Flow, volume, velocity, air velocity, steam velocity. You need a pilot tube and manometer, different tools, ultrasonic flow meter, speed measure. You can also use it to measure speed. Of course, you need your decibel meter your noise meter to check the decibel level of maybe a generator or a noisy area to be able to meet up with the standard requirements, because there are regulatory numbers for noise in some particular areas to be able to protect the people that work in that environment. Of course, the main meter itself, the fluke meter for the power analyzer or power or energy consumption or power quality. There's also the fluke meter for that. Also for your fluid, to measure your fluid, water hardness and stuff like that, you need this. Also for the flue gas analysis for your generator, for your boiler, you need the flue gas analyzer, sorry. Of course, fuel efficiency monitoring. You also need the fuel efficiency monitor to achieve that. These are some of the information gathered from there. So I think I've been able to run through the most important aspects of energy audit, introduction to energy audit. And as I've said earlier, you can contact me via the information there. You can check us out on our website. You can send me an email at ayo@stratagemenergy.com. You can call us. We are available to talk you through your audit process, to show you how you can deliver savings. But I have, with the permission of ETC, you can reach Stratagem for a free audit. Terms and conditions apply. You can write us, you can call us, and we'll be able to talk to you. So we are available for you at any time. Thank you so much for your time. I hope I've been able to make some good, I'll be able to pass on some knowledge to you.
Thank you very much.
And I'm available for your questions later.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dada. That was a very expository session. And before we go on to Mrs. Peace, I have two quick questions for you. Can you hear me, Mr. Dada?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right. In a situation where you are to carry out a pilot energy audit for an organization signed off by the management, and you are having issues with getting information and data from the employees working in the process plant, how do you manage that? You know, practically most of the time when this process operations personnel see auditors on their floor asking them questions on their machines and their processes, most of the time they kind of you know, don't release this information fully and also accurately. How do you handle that? Can you advise?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Banre. That's a very good question. If you observed during my presentation, I kept talking about you cannot know the house of the owner of the house like the owner of the house. One of the ways to do this is to create a good relationship, to let them understand that you are coming not to point accusing fingers. You are coming to help them to do better. You are coming to assist them. Like I said earlier, an auditor is not a punisher. Your job is to just shed light. If the same man you are talking to goes to your own facility, he would see things you are not seeing. So that's the role. The role of an auditor is kind of like an helicopter view into that facility. Somebody who is working at street level will not have the same view as somebody who is coming from an helicopter view or a satellite view. So you need to manage the relationship. You need to let them understand the purpose of the audit. The purpose of the audit is to come and provide solution and provide support to what they already know. Once in a while, you could even also help them. You could also ask them to tell you, okay, let me give you an example. I was at a place to do a training on safety. A company invited me to do a pro bono training on safety. And when I got there, what I did was I switched it for the team. I was talking to about 40 people in the organization, and I asked them, based on your experience, what do you think the management should do to improve safety? That was it. And I had so much information from them than I could have ever done by even going to do an audit or going in another way. So by speaking to them, by letting them understand that you value their knowledge, their experience, their contribution, the fact that they own that space, the fact that they work in that space, I believe they will be able to open up to you. They will also even be able to tell you, to help them tell management what they think management should do. So that the right thing management should do.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I think relationship is key. You know, the second question is on the payback deliverable from energy audits. You see, one of the reasons why most organizations shy away from energy audit is the actual cost.
Mm.
You know, right here, it is very easy for us to say that, okay, it's going to give 20 to 30% energy savings. But at the
Yeah.
beginning, the investment is always huge. Now, what advice, would you give to maybe the managers in their house, okay, with respect to investing in energy audits, so they will understand that the payback is is far much more than how much they are going to put in now, because we have so many people here that are influencers, that will be able to go back to their organizations and let the management know that there is also importance in the timing, because one of the key things you mentioned is that if you don't do it as at when due, it's going to cost you much more. So
Yeah.
what advice do you have, for organizations as to the importance of conducting energy audit, not looking at the immediate cost?
Okay, thank you once again, Mr. Banere. And that's a very, very good question that goes straight to the heart of the matter. You will not lose, no matter the energy audits you conduct. Every energy audit that I've ever conducted, that any of my colleagues here on the panel and outside the panel has ever conducted, if the recommendations are implemented, it pays back itself.
Mm,
It pays back, always pays back, because this even if you conduct an energy audit 3 years ago and you implemented it, there's something they call follow-up audits.
mm,
Because these are systems, these are processes that keeps evolving. People are changing. Even in organizations, there is a very high turnover of staff. And there may be somebody who has already understood the process 3 years ago. Another person is there with a new knowledge, with a better knowledge. So it will change. But let me also go straight to the heart of the matter here. As experts, one thing that's why I mentioned it earlier, that Stratagem offers what we call performance contracting. Most organizations are worried, or they are laid back about taking decisions on energy audit or implementing recommendations or outcomes of energy audit because there is no way to verify. Okay, so what I tell people most of the time is there is a key part of energy audits or this industry that we call measurement and verification. And that is key to performance contracting. If you want to do any energy audit, we have to form a baseline. there's a baseline that will determine when this, like you said, the timing, we're doing this audit in 2020. This organization was producing 50 metric ton per year. The energy consumption at this time is 40,000 kilowatt hours per year. These are information, data, baseline data that we need to keep. And if we are going to make any improvements, if we need to also conduct metering, which is also part of the measurement process and the verification process, at that point, there's a metering that has taken place. If energy audit is done, there's what we call the before and the after. If the before is to check the status quo, the after is to see after 3 months, after 1 month, this is the improvement that we have measured, that we have delivered. So most of the time, I don't recommend that somebody comes and executes an energy audit and walks away. It's always better to get them involved also in the implementation. Get them to measure for you, to verify. If there's need for financing for that project, this measurement and verification is critical to the financing of that project. So that's what I would say. Measure energy audits or implementation of energy audits will always pay back, but it cannot be achieved without measurement and verification. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dada. So the bottom line is that you can't lose with energy audit.
No, you
Yeah.
can't. You can't.
Thank you so much. So
Thank
right
you.
now we'll be going to our top panelist. That's Mrs. Chinyere Nwabogo. She is going to be talking to us in the next few minutes on reporting, energy audit reporting. So do we have you now? Are you ready for us?
Yes, I am. Good morning.
Okay. Good morning, ma. You can go on, please.
So, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Dada, Madam Victoria. Thank you, ETC, for fixing this again. It's an honor to be here. And to all our participants, thank you for joining in. So, I'm sure you have been enjoying everyone. So, we are going to be looking at reporting. From the last question that Mr. Banire asked, how do you get people to conduct energy audit actually? Mr. Banira, do you have my slides?
Yes, we do, but we're expecting you to share from your end. But let's see what we can do. David, can you help out?
All right, just give me a moment. Let me pull it up.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, so while we're waiting, I just want to give a brief analogy. If you are going to report an energy audit, you need to be a good storyteller. Um, for anybody to pull out funds to carry out an audit, so like Mr. Dada has informed us, you don't lose with energy audit. Yes, you don't lose, but how do you get them to commit? How do you get them to actually go through the audit? So your initial proposal has to be very detailed. It has to show all the components that my colleagues have talked about, Victoria and Mr. Dada. You need to show them the kind of equipment, the tools you're going to use. And for the reporting too, there are tools that you can use to report. So those ones will be shared in the paid classes. So you need to be very convincing to your clients that they need the audits. The payback period need to be detailed. How are they going to assess the payback period? That starts from your proposal to the client. Some people already know why they need to do an audit, so they don't need so much of, um, so much of talking to. Say, for example, women. Let me paint a different example. Physically, a woman and her hair, she can spend so much. But there are people who will come. You want to convince them why they should do a particular thing. You need to ask them, how would you like to feel looking this way. I mean, once you put it to her, she wouldn't mind spending. That's how companies are. If you show them how they will become competitive in the market by having cost reduction in production, which will increase their, uh, which will decrease their cost of production and increase revenue, I'm sure companies will want to go into that. And so with the reporting, I have an outline here that shows that you have to have your executive summary, the site layout and description like Madam Victoria showed us. You show them their load demand. I'll show this in the later slide. Show them where, have access to their critical load so that they understand where they are wasting energy and be able to follow your recommendations. Now I have a brief definition for energy audits. Energy audit is an inspection survey and an analysis. So you have to critically analyze what they have in stock and show them the need. So you have the analysis has to be in-depth. It's an analysis of energy flows for energy conservation in a building. So it could either be a manufacturing sites in the oil and gas sector, in the universities, residentials, wherever. It may include a process or system to reduce the amount of energy input into the system without negatively affecting the output. That's all you want to achieve. And now, what do you use an energy audit for? You use it to assess the energy efficiency of a home based on the appliances and the design and the usage. So the time they want to use it, they want to use this power for 24 hours, they want to use it for 6 hours. You need to find, these things out. So now that we're having back and forth with the electricity tariff, the need for certified energy auditors is increasing. So I think this is the time to join, in the, come on board as energy auditors, get certified and, put your tent out there. So the need for energy auditors can help to, help companies to identify where they need to save energy and increase their income. So I have here components of an audit report. You have the executive summary, the cost analysis, the management recommendations, and the action plan. This action plan has to be well detailed. So an executive summary is a short, concise, and straight to the point report made from your recommendations. When you are done, you do a summary of your report. Like I said in the last slide, you need to analyze your reports, the audit that you have conducted. So based on the operation of the facility or wherever that you are conducting this energy audit, you have to do a proper analysis of the energy consumption of that facility to be able to advise properly, because once you give a very detailed report and it helps the organization, the homeowner, or wherever you have conducted this energy, it helps them to save money. They see it in the long run. Of course, they would always want to listen to you. So first is always on paper, and this paper is is what we call the energy reporting. So it has to be a detailed report. The next things are your recommendations. So you want to recommend either retrofitting or replacement. So you need to discuss this in the executive summary. Then you propose your action plan. What do you want to implement? At what stage? At what point? Um, that you need them to be executed. So these are the outline that you have. So I put here an example of energy audit consideration. So the example is just for lightning. You have to do this for every equipment in the organization, the house, the facility you are conducting. So this table in your audit reporting, you have to, something like this, you have to have for different equipment. So the table is a yes or no. The empty tab is your recommendation. And this part are critical questions. You have various templates that you can get when you have your paid classes. So are they using LEDs? Are they using compact fluorescent lamp? What did you find on site? You have to put it down. Are there several light switches? Are they labeled? So the questions here, the second question is, if there are several light switches, can they be labeled to make it more obvious? Which switches relate to which lights? So these are things that you need to note in the course of your energy audit. Like Victoria said, we'll have walkthrough audit and we'll have the critical audit. So you need to, if you're this example is used for the critical audit actually, and you want to find out, are the lights switched off to make use of daylighting, or they just have lights on like you usually see around when you are walking on the road. You see compact fluorescent light, incandescent bulb, 60 watts, still on during the day. Corridor lighting still on. These things are wrong. So if you observe these kind of things, you need to note it down. These are things that will form your recommendations. And all the way down, you say, do they have windows or skylights? Does it need cleaning? In some factories, they have some factories that use either skylights or fluorescent lights that are dirty. It makes the lighting poor, and so they kind of it makes them install so many lighting points, for which if they just clean those dirty covering, it would enhance the illumination in that room. So you want to find out, are they are they clean, or do they need cleaning? So you note this down. You can recommend to them to clean their lighting so as to reduce the lightning points in that facility. So moving forward, when you are done, so this is just for the lightning. You might have internal, external, yard, corridor, factory. You have to note them in their different categories. So this is based on the lightning that I've given an example of. So if you are doing for the living room, you want to identify, is it efficient or inefficient? If you did for the dining room, is it efficient or inefficient? If you did for the bedroom, is it efficient or inefficient? So you do that for every appliance that you are working, that you find in the facility that you're carrying out your audits, as seen in the next slide. So for the TV set, the refrigerator, the iron, just where do you find them? You have to segment them. Did you find them in the living room, the dining? You segment them so that your reporting is very clear. Like Mr. Dada said, it has to be easily understood when anybody picks it up without you saying too much. And if the homeowner or facility owner falls in love with your reporting, you don't need so much convincing for him or her to adopt your recommendation. So when you document your report, you summarize, and then you append your signature like the doctors will do once they give you, or the laboratory will do when they give you your results, to show that I am a certified energy auditor. I append my signature. Once you do what I have said, you are sure to save money. Um, so I hope with this points, it helps you to understand that your reporting can actually convince your clients to adopt your recommendations. Thank you for having me, ETC.
Thank you very much, Ma, for that
This is not my
short.
picture, oh, Mr.
Sorry about that. Uh, Thanks for that very short and precise information. I have just one question for you. How can one become a certified energy auditor?
Okay, so like every certification exercise, there are modules you have to show your expertise in. So if you're ready for certification, you apply for it. You'll be given the outline. If you need to do some more studies, you have to go for those studies. If not, you go in for the exams, and once you scale through your exams to show that, yes, I know what I'm doing, of course, you'll be certified.
Okay. Just another quick question for you,
Please
before
go ahead.
I pass on to Mr. Daka. He said, um, what are the immediate skill sets that are needed for one to be able to go into energy management career?
Okay. So first of all, you need to understand your physics, or maybe you are a graduate of physics, maths, or electrical engineering. So you need to understand the basics, the basics of electricity. Because again, it involves a lot of calculations. If you saw the table that Madam Victoria shared with us, for you to do your load audits, you need to understand the mathematics behind it. So the basic skill set, I would say, is your mathematical skills, really, and then understanding the terminology. So you're going to look at voltage, current, understanding which one is applied where, so that you don't miscalculate,
Mm.
basically.
Thank you, ma'am. Now,
You're
this
welcome.
question is to Mr. Dada. Are you still with us? Hello? Is Mr. Ayodeji Dada still there?
Yeah, she's online.
Okay. I just want to be sure he's listening. So this question is actually directed to him. Okay. So are there participants? Just be assured that all your questions will be attended to. Okay. So while we are waiting for Mr. Dada, um, I want to ask Madam Peace that which is the best association for an energy auditor as a professional body to join in Nigeria? Yes, you can go on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, we have the Energy Managers Association in Nigeria. I think that's an association to join, but before you join, you have to have a you have to have gone through their programs and written their certification exams. But there is another international one that um, registers you once you have shown uh, requisite knowledge in energy audits, maybe with one or two exercises that you have done. So there are different levels to that. You can either join as a student, so they don't require much from you, or you join as a professional. So that's on the international scene. And you can write the certification exams right here in Nigeria, but it's online, like um, your
Thank you.
TOEFL exams. Yeah.
Someone here asked that Mr. Dada made mention of calibration and that he would like to know. Uh, Mr. Dada, are you here now?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, good. We have two questions for you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Someone is asking about instrument calibration. Although I know we have a couple of them, but would you like to recommend an organization that does instrument calibration?
Okay. I know of Power Pro.
Okay.
I know of Power Pro. They're on Obakran. Stratagem is also strategically looking at that for the near future. But for people that I know now, it's Power Pro.
Okay. Good.
I don't know if you
So
know more people you can. Yeah.
Yeah. I know a couple of company that does that. You can check First Core Power Automation. They are also into calibration. So, how do you actualize your energy saving technology? Is it changing the system or behavior changes? This is another question for you, Mr. Dada.
Okay, thank you. I think I saw that question earlier and I was just waiting for you to coordinate. Uh, I call something behavioral energy efficiency. I implemented that very well in Coca-Cola. And it's also one or two of the recommendations I give people. We can help you to implement behavioral energy efficiency with your team. Like the question I was asked immediately I finished my presentation, the people who, they are part of the value chain. People who operate the system, people who use energy, even people who are in the admin building of a facility, everybody, the security, everybody is part of the energy consumption value chain. So their behavior matters. But let's talk about perimeter lighting. So the person who asked this question is anonymous, okay? So I wanted to call his name. Let's talk about perimeter lighting. The security operative or the technician, the electrical technician is probably responsible for switching off this perimeter lighting every morning. But why don't we use technology? Because human beings can forget, not because they want to forget, but because of the pressure of work. So we use a daylighting switch, which is technology, which would help us to make sure the perimeter light goes off when the day there is daylight, and it comes back in the evening when there is darkness. So you need to weigh it and to know what suits you appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Another question here. The person said, what are the certifications available for someone in power generation who wants to get into energy audit? I have an answer for that person, but I would like Mr. Dada from your own angle.
Okay. Thank you once again. Uh, to answer your question will be a bit selfish. So maybe Mr. Bagere will help me to make it neutral and objective. But for me, what I would say is I'm the president of the Association of Energy Engineers. The Association of Energy Engineers is a global body which is based in the United States of America. They provide you with opportunity to become a certified energy auditor. When you get that certification, you can be an auditor anywhere on the globe. That certificate is recognized. The process of getting that certification rather is properly vetted. The examination, the curriculum is global. The people who make sure exams like that are certified globally have certified that exam. The flagship certification is a certified energy manager. You can become, you're actually the top boss. Your CM is better than PA. You can also get what we call the Certified Maintenance and Verification Professional, CMVP. You can also become a renewable energy professional. I know the Energy Institute also has some certification. I'm hearing from Mrs. Peace today that you also have the Energy Managers Association that has some form of certifications you can do. I think you can also work. I think SGS also has some training for ISO 50001 where you can become a lead auditor for ISO. So you can also become a lead auditor for ISO. So I don't know if Mr. Banner has more of such certifications. Well, you can
All
also
right,
reach
thank
out
you.
to them. Sorry, Mr. Banner, quickly, I'm sorry to come back. Stratagem can also offer you the details of each of these courses I've mentioned, this certification, because we are partnering with the AEE through their administrative unit in South Africa, which is called IPA, Institute of Energy Professionals. So we can give you all the details when you write to us. You can write to me or call any of the numbers I shared earlier. Thank you.
Okay,
Mr. Banner.
thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Dada. Before I go on that note, I want Mrs. Nabogu to please respond to this. Someone is saying that so if he or she doesn't have a background in physics, does that mean they can't be an energy audit specialist?
Oh, not at all. So, like I said, is if you understand the mathematics, so you won't be in a class where they're talking about current flow and you are feeling lost, right? So, people study biology and very into accounting, but they have to go and take accounting basics to help them excel in the class. So I just said you asked for basic skills, and that's why I gave that if you have studied physics or maths or electrical engineering, you'll be fair in class when they are talking, so you understand what they are talking about, block diagram, circuit diagram, all those kind of things. But if you don't have that knowledge, it will be difficult for you to flow in the class. So it doesn't stop you from getting into the energy audit space. All you need to do is take the basics, go take the basics, can read it up online, but just be sure you are grounded so that you don't feel lost. You understand what you're calculating, because energy audit is about calculation. If you miscalculate, you make your client spend a lot of money and will not be able to trust you. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Madam, for that response. Now, let me go into um, the certification, because one of the objectives of this program is also to introduce to us the required certification, not just for energy audit, but for energy management system as a whole. Energy Training Center has gone into partnership with the Energy Institute in the UK. And I would like to do a brief introduction of the Energy Institute to all our participants here. You'll see that this is a chartered professional body that brings global energy expertise together. The Energy Institute is an international chartered body specifically devoted to developing and supporting individuals in the energy space. They have a branch here in Nigeria, and Energy Training Center, our organization, has been able to form an alliance with Energy Institute to represent them here in Nigeria for um, trainings in the energy space, for professional membership, and also for qualification and certification. There are three areas that we are looking at. But before I go into those three areas, David, can you help me flip to those three items? Before I go into those three areas, I'd like to say to us that if you come through Energy Training Center for the professional membership, the training, certification, and qualification, you are not going to be paying the same amount as to when you go on your own individually or you go to apply. It's going to be highly subsidized based on our partnership agreement. Now, there are three levels of partnership, of membership with the Energy Institute. We have the student membership, we have the associate membership, and we have the affiliate membership. Now, part of our target for this masterclass is also to be able to bring those who are undergraduates at the moment into this know, so as to prepare them for the industries and to make them employable. So there's an opportunity for student membership. If you're an undergraduate or you're a parent, you have students who are in the sciences or in the engineering. We now have the associate membership. The associate membership is for those who have between 3 years to 5 years experience in the energy space, who can join the Energy Institute. And then we have the affiliate, those with about 10 years of experience and above. Now, each of these levels have different fees that you pay. Okay, and the fees are annual. You pay them annually. Now, let's look at the benefits of your membership with the Energy Institute. There are so many bodies that certifies energy management programs, including energy audits, energy efficiency, and all of that. The benefits of working with Energy Institute is that, number one, it's going to boost your CV. If you are maybe you are working in a power plant, or you are working in a manufacturing sector, or in any of the industries, apart from your degrees, there is need for you to be a professional member. That recognition will boost your CV. Now, the second benefit is in the area of networking and connection. Networking and connection. Because once you are a member, you will have access to certain meetings and sessions that are only available to members. So which means you would be opportune to interact with people who are operating in the energy space all over the world. Because as an European body, the coverage is massive. There's a wealth of opportunities each year to get involved, to connect with industry professionals, to grow your network. They also have what we call the Young Professionals Network here in Nigeria. It has branches, networks, events, conferences, seminars, link-up groups, and all of that. The third benefit is knowledge resources. That you are a member of EI gives you full access to information, services, covering every aspect of energy sector, including the energy matrix, their library, their e-library services, and supplement content for students. The fourth benefit is it's going to give you professional development and access. Let's say, for example, you travel out of Nigeria, maybe in another 1 year or 2 years, and you want to get a job somewhere else in the world. So apart from your degree here in Nigeria, one of the things that's going to enable you to be employable outside this country is the fact that you belong to this professional body, as long as you are in the energy space. And lastly, I will talk about the examinations. Because we are now their partner here in Nigeria, we have agreed to partner with them in their level 1 program. The level 1 program is going to prepare you for chartership. They have what they call CEM chartership. It is Chartered Energy Manager. So, and this title comes as a result of you training with us, one, and then we have some resource personnel that will come and have an interview with you to check your years of experience, to check the projects you have deployed, and to check your knowledge level even after the training program. This will give you the chartership we're talking about. So one of the things that Energy Training Center is bringing to fore alongside this energy audit training program is that we are going to be advertising our next paid program for energy audits coming up later this month. You will get that information via your emails. And the financial implication of this membership I've just talked about, you also get it via your email. So there are 3 things one more time that I want to reiterate. You have the opportunity of becoming EI professional member. So depends on the level you belong to, either student member, associate member, or affiliate member. Number 2, you have an opportunity of getting the chartership. That's becoming a chartered energy manager. Okay, which means you now have an endorsement with the seal from United Kingdom, okay, through EI, that you are now a chartered energy manager. You will have the title CEM after your name. And the third thing we are bringing to bear is the certification in energy management essentials. Now, this level 1 certificate in energy management essentials has about 9 modules. And out of these 9 modules, one of it is energy audits. So which means if you come for this level 1 certificate in energy management essentials, you already cover energy audit and all other aspect of energy management system. Now, EI also gives certificate for only energy audit. You can choose to come for just a module, okay, in all of these conversations. So if you come for energy audit training program, you get that certificate. So if you are here and you are interested in any of the certification, we are going to send, our feedback link is there. And so it's also included for you to indicate if you are interested. So there will be a follow-up after this training to get you registered and to start the process of your professional membership with Energy Institute. And lastly, I would like us to also note some of our training programs that are coming up later this month. I'd like my colleague to present that, because we deploy training programs across the power and the utility sector, the manufacturing sector, the renewable energy sector, and also the oil and gas. So whichever sector you find yourself, there are training programs every month that are applicable to your market. So you'll see that July 7 to 8, we have supervisory control and data acquisition, that's SCADA, targeted at the power transmission and the distribution. We have just 2 days after, we'll be having our occupational health and safety course, okay, July 10th and 11th. And we have the boiler series that we run each month, a module per month. So the first module was boiler safety, standard operating procedures, and legal requirements. And in total, we trained 18, 12, about 30 people in total from 3 different organizations. So we are even getting calls for a rerun of that first module, but we do it once in a month. And it's a 10 module series. So if you miss a module, you need to do that module before you continue. Because one of the things we also do is this boiler training, if you can pass through the 10 modules, is going to give you an international certification. So one of the things we like you to note about Energy Training Center that stands us out from the crowd is that we do not just deploy training programs and give you certificate of attendance. Our target is to as well prepare you for international certification alongside any certificate we are giving you for all of our training programs. So we'd like you to get abreast with all of our training programs, and you can always visit us at www.etc.ng. There is an interactive portal on our website that you can converse with. So we have understanding MITO and the tariff setting process coming up July 30th, understanding procurement of power and PPS July 31st, and performance management is coming mid of July. So you can also send us a mail on programs@etc.ng or call us on the phone number that is set beneath. We want to thank you very much. For those of you asking how you can apply, our contact is on the screen. If you have further questions as to all of the information being shared, kindly take note of this information that is being projected. You can contact us, and be rest assured that we'll attend to you adequately and do all in our capacity to support you in your capacity building need and certification need. On behalf of Energy Training Center, we want to appreciate all the panelists, Mrs. Victoria, Mr. Ayodeji Dada, and Mrs. Peace Nwabogo. Thank you very much for sharing your knowledge with us and your time, which is very precious to you. We do appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dada. Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Wonderful job you guys are doing. And thanks to everybody that connected, that joined.
Thank you, sir. So we also want to appreciate our team, the technical team working from behind, my colleagues. I want to thank you very much. I also want to appreciate all of our attendees and participants this morning. I'm sure that some values have been added. So this is an initiation of motion in a new direction. So for as many that are interested in all that we have talked about, please contact us and we'll take it up from here. Once again, we appreciate you. Bye for now. Thank you.
Bye.